Hello everybody! Welcome to the Joy of Trucking. Today we're going to talk about receiving a load assignment and planning your trip. We had that question from one of our viewers, so thanks for putting those questions in the comments. We love addressing your actual concerns and questions. Remember to subscribe, and without further ado, Kevin has been on home time, and this morning he went on duty and he told them already yesterday that he was ready for a load, and now he just received a load. So we're gonna walk you through the whole process here, and hopefully that'll help you guys as well. All right, Kevin.
Yes.
What just happened?
Okay. First things first. You have preform messages here. So you want to let them know that you're available for a load.
Ooh,
So
that's bad
lighting.
That's good.
Available for a load. Press that button. I am available for a load. You hit yes and submit. And then they know that you're ready and waiting to go to work, and they start looking for a load. All right. And then you watch your messages, and you'll get this message. You have been assigned a load. Please press the complete button below to reply. Available for load. So we press that. It goes to the form message, confirming you're available. And now they will send the load to your tablet with all the information. And you'll find that over here on Workflow. Workflow is the app with all your load information. So it'll show your available load, new loads, the active load, and completed loads. This is like a history of stuff that you've done. So you're watching for the one to show up here on available loads. And when it does, you can review it. In other words, look at the information, where you're picking up the load, where you're taking it to, and all the details, like reference numbers, appointment numbers, appointment times, any special information like you're not allowed to idle your engine on the property.
I thought you were going to say wear a tie when you just put your hand up there.
Wear your
vest,
flashy vest while you're on the property.
not a tie.
No pets allowed loose on the property where you're picking up your load. All kinds of interesting stuff like that. Phone numbers for people that you might need to call the shipper, or all kinds of they'll tell you the weight of the load and all that sort of thing. So you're gonna look at that, review it, and then activate the load, and it goes back to them, and they say, and it basically means you've looked at everything and you're cool with it and you're accepting that load, and then they will assign the load to you as a new load. And once you've reviewed it and activated the load, it goes to active in this box.
Okay.
So what you need to do then is record all the information so you have it on paper and in your hand, because at different times you're going to get out of the truck and go to a guard shack or shipping receiving or something
Office,
like that,
yeah.
And they're going to ask you what the load number is, or what the bill of lading number is, what the trailer number is that you're picking up. And when you deliver, the same thing, you have to tell them, the bill of lading and all the information that has to do with it. So you want to have that on a piece of paper. So I carry a pocket notebook, and I write it down all in the same format every time: the date, the ID number, which is Werner's ID number.
Can we see all that?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
They haven't sent it yet.
Okay.
You want to write down your trailer number and the license plate of the trailer. You want to write down the reference numbers, like the bill of lading, or if there's a special pickup number or something like that that you have to tell the shipper, I'm here for this load. You want to write down the weight of the load, the seal number on the back of the trailer, because once it's loaded and everything's in there, there'll be a seal put on it. So when you deliver the load, they know that no one has opened it up and messed with the load inside. You will want to write down the number of miles for the load, both the loaded miles and your deadhead miles, because that's how you get paid.
Right.
So it will give you all that information, and
that's important to write down. Sorry to interrupt you, honey, but like we've had a situation where they forgot to put the deadhead miles on your summary. So
trip.
if you hadn't have caught that, you wouldn't have gotten paid. So that's where it's important for you to write that down and then cross-reference it with your tablet.
Right.
Right? Okay.
You're also going to have, usually you'll have an empty trailer. If it's drop and hook, you're going to have an empty trailer that you bring with you. You drop the empty and pick up the loaded trailer. So you want to keep track of that trailer number and license plate as well.
So you do this whole process for each of the,
For
whether
each
it's
job.
empty or full.
Right, you need to record all that information, and I do it in that format, in that order, so that it's the same every time and it's easy to locate the information. Then you're going to write down where you're picking up the load, the shipper, the address, and then you're also going to write down the consignee, or where it's being shipped or delivered to. And sometimes it's a split load, so you want to write down the address of where you're dropping that load, and someone else will pick it up and take it to the consignee.
Ooh, it's making noises.
Yeah, your
What
job
does-
is received.
Uh-huh.
So you get these little messages coming up here. Can you see it? You see I got a message
The
indicator
little
right there.
orange.
These messages come up. We can view the messages. New job received. Trailer reservation details, which means they found me an empty trailer that I'm going to pick up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the trailer number for the empty trailer and the location.
So you just hit the plus sign and it opens it up.
Right? And I have to go to Garysburg, North Carolina to pick up the empty trailer.
Okay.
So now I see that I've looked at the messages, and I'm going to go over here to my message page. And again, you've been assigned a load, so that was the previous message. The new message, your trailer reservation, the trailer number, the location of the trailer. All right. So that tells me I got to get in the truck and go to that location, pick up the empty trailer. That is not the load. That's just my empty trailer.
Because you bobtailed it here to your hometown.
Because I have no trailer right now,
Right.
just the tractor. Now we're going to workflow, and you see here's our new
Can you
load.
tilt it up, please? Thank you.
Here's our new load. There's the job ID number, so that's the company number for this. It says I'm starting in Dillon, South Carolina, and I'm taking this load to Jackson, Mississippi.
Mississippi!
So I hit this arrow, and now it's showing me the shipper. Here's the mileage. It's 115 miles to go get the load. That's my deadhead miles. And here's where I'm taking it to. Oh, sorry, that's a fuel stop. They also tell me where I should get fuel. And then I'm taking the load.
But you don't actually have to get the fuel
Oh,
there.
sorry, this
That's
is
just
Michigan.
That's just a suggestion.
Jackson, Michigan.
Oh, MI,
Right.
yes.
So my deadhead miles 115. I'll have a fuel stop on the way, and the mileage for the load is 732 miles.
Right, so you would
It's
write
also
that
telling
down
you
in your little
I
booklet.
gotta write all that down. The appointment for picking up the load is today
Mm-hmm.
from 3 a.m. until 4:30 in the afternoon. And my delivery appointment is 2 days from now, 8 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. So I'm gonna get from South Carolina to Michigan in the next 2 days. So then I go, that's just the stops, the addresses, and where I'm
You gotta
supposed to
tilt it.
where I'm supposed to do each thing. Now the shipment details themselves, this is Werner Enterprises. This is the weight of the load, 35,000 pounds, how many pieces there are. It's on pallets. Driver must stop at the stop line and exit the tractor and report to the security gate. Have your ID handy.
So all the
The
details.
empty trailer must be clean with no debris. Don't clean it at our site. Driver needs to provide unison load trailer, blah, 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 trailer numbers, speed limit 10 miles per hour on our property, all kinds of little things. Here's the load type is live load, which means I'll pull up with an empty trailer and they'll load the trailer while I'm there. Delivery.
Which we don't like so much because you never know how long that's going to take.
Delivery type is live unload, so when I arrive, they're going to unload the trailer while I sit there.
Which again, we don't like so much because you never know how long it's going to take.
Yeah. Here's a reference number
And you're not
that you'll
getting
need.
paid while that's happening, you
Yeah.
know, because you
Yeah.
only get paid while you're rolling.
Here's a reference number, so if you get there and they say what's, the reference number tells them which load you're getting. How many miles is the trip right here. Piece
Tilt
count
it
of
up,
the
please.
weight of the load, 35,000 pounds. And that's not always accurate. They might put that in, and then after it's loaded, they'll tell you what the real weight is. So check your bill of lading for the actual weight. You'll need to know that. And it's important too to know the weight, because the next thing you'll do is look up the addresses for both. Look at the route you're going to take on maps, and the tablet also has a navigation program, so you can look up your route on that, and the tablet knows that you're a truck. If you use Google Maps on your phone, it'll show you the quickest route in your car, and trucks can't always take those roads and so on. There are weight restrictions, or there are low bridges and so on. So the other thing you have to remember is you got to check the weather along your route. So you're going to go on your weather app and look at the weather in the city where you're picking up, the city you're going to, and you're looking at it over a period of time. Like, you know, you're not getting to Michigan today, so you want to look at the weather in Michigan tomorrow and the day after. And you're also going to look at not just the rain or snow, you're looking for hail. You also want to look at high winds. If your load is under 20,000 pounds and there are wind warnings, it can flip your trailer. You can roll your truck over.
Yeah.
So you got to keep that in mind too. So you're gonna get all this information, write it all down, and have it somewhere on paper on your person. You're gonna look at.
And actually, at Werner, we were in one of the stores. They actually sold a little booklet that had all the different things pre-printed, and you just had to fill it out. But it had extra things too, and Kevin just puts it in his little notebook.
Yeah, have a little pocket notebook.
But if you feel more comfortable, you know, you could look in the store too to see if they have that.
So you're gonna write all this information down in a notebook and keep it on you.
Yep.
Reference number, ID number, weight, destination, trailer numbers. When you get your trailer, write the license plate number down. You're gonna look at the route, where you're going. You know, I have to go pick up a trailer, and then I have to go to the shipper. So I'm gonna look at that route, see, you know, if I'm going through major cities. I'm gonna check the weather along that route for the time that I'm driving it, not just now, but over the next day or so many hours I know it'll take me to get there. I have to look at the route so I know how long it'll take to get there. If it's a 6-hour trip, if it's a 20-hour trip, and then I have to look at my clock. I have to say, you know, I can only drive 11 hours, but maybe I've already used up some of my time today. So at what point I have to stop, and then when 10 hours later I can go back on duty and continue the journey. So you have to add in your downtime when you're figuring out your ETA. You got to realize that, you know, I have so many hours to drive today. It's going to take me so many hours to get there. After I rest, I'm going to continue driving. Will I get there at noon tomorrow? Will I get there at 5, 6, 7 at night? Or will I have to stop again and continue the day after? So part of this is also figuring out when you're going to get there and let the company know your ETA. So if that doesn't jive with the appointment time when you're supposed to arrive there and get unloaded, they can contact them and set up a different time, or have somebody else pick up your load while you're resting and they'll get it there on time.
Right.
So it's very important to figure out your timing and look at your clocks and how much time you have today and tomorrow and so on.
Yeah.
And when your 70-hour clock's going to run out, if you might get shut down for 34 hours before the load's delivered.
And it's
so all that comes into your trip planning.
Right.
Weather, route, hours, your hours of operation, and so on, and weight, how much weight you're carrying.
And I wanted to just add in, because we had a conversation with a new driver at a terminal too. You have to figure out the realistic way that you can get it there. You know, so don't the ETA time that comes with the job is not written in stone, right? So you have to not get yourself all stressed out thinking you have to make it by then. You, like Kevin said, have to make the planning work for you with your hours and your clocks and your rest time and all of that, and then you need to communicate with the company.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So one more time, what are the things?
You get the job on your tablet and write down all the information in the same format each time. Your date, the reference numbers, the trailer number that you're picking up, the seal that's on that trailer, the license plate number. You're also going to record the information for your empty trailer. You're going to record the reference numbers for the bill of lading or your pickup number, your appointment number, or whatever. Look at the appointment times. when you're picking up and when you're delivering. You also need to write down the address where you're picking up the load and where you're delivering it to, and if there's a split, where you're dropping that load for somebody else to pick it up. And you're going to write down the mileage, your deadhead miles and the actual loaded miles. Make sure you record that.
And if it's a split, you need the envelope. Then you have an envelope that you fill out as well.
You fill out an envelope and leave it with the load.
Yeah.
And then you're going to look at the route. You're gonna look at where you're picking up the load, where you're taking it to, how many hours it's going to take to make that run, whether or not it'll be interrupted by your rest time or your reset time or whatever, so that you can give a reasonable estimated time of arrival when you're going to get there with the load. And when you pick up the load at the shipper, you're going to fill that out and let the company know what your ETA is. You don't do that now because you haven't actually gotten there yet. You don't know what delays you're going to have along the way when you get to the shipper, how long it's going to take to load and so on. Once you're loaded and ready to hit the highway, then you fill all that out.
Okay.
All right. And after you've looked at the route, look at the weather along the route at the times that you're going to be driving on that area.
And that's a great example today. We're actually in the Outer Banks and Tropical Storm Claudette is here. So definitely you want to always be aware of the weather, because different places in the country, it can change pretty quickly and you might have no idea, what you're heading into. So be sure you check along the route, not just your start and end location. All right, well.
You're also going to look at your fuel. Well, if you're planning the trip,
yeah.
See how much fuel you've got and how far you think you're going to go before you fuel again. And with the company, we have a fuel card that's only good at certain fuel stations. So then you have to go on the company maps and see where those are along your route, because you might have to drive 300 miles before you hit one of those places.
Yeah.
So you've got to plan that in too, make sure you have enough fuel to make it there.
And you can also, Kevin looks at where he thinks he might stay overnight. So, but usually in a sort of a range of an area, because you can't guarantee you're going to hit that one particular truck stop. So he usually checks like, between here and there, these are the options where we would probably be able to spend the night. So that's another thing.
All right, I'm going to get to work.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. Appreciate you laying that out for our subscribers and viewers. Oh, and hey, if you're only a viewer, please do become a subscriber. That helps us to bring you more videos like this. And thumbs up if you got value from this. Comments and questions below. Subscribe, hit that notification button, and thank you to our viewer for asking us that question. Hope this helped you and other viewers as well. With that, have a great day with love from Kevin and Tanya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.